Lebanese lawmaker Hassan Ezzeddine, speaking to Iranian state-linked outlets, claimed that any U.S. strike on Iran could trigger a missile response against American warships, a threat that cannot be independently verified. Ezzeddine, a member of the Lebanese parliament aligned with Iran's regional allies, made the remarks on Saturday while addressing the ongoing indirect nuclear negotiations between Tehran and the United States. Press TV reported the comments, though we have not seen independent confirmation of the full remarks from major wire services. Ezzeddine claimed Iran entered the talks with faith in God and from a position of strength, describing Tehran's stance as fully powerful rather than weak. He acknowledged the military capabilities of the United States and its allies, but stressed that Iran came to the negotiating table relying on what he called real capabilities and the ability to confront Washington if necessary. The lawmaker rejected any suggestion that Iran would raise the white flag, according to the Al-Bayt news agency. According to Ezzeddine, Tehran will neither retreat from what it views as its rights, nor bargain away its national interests, security, or political system. He said the current negotiations are limited strictly to the nuclear file, and that within that framework, a solution is possible, but only if it is based on equality and mutual respect. Any attempt to expand the scope of talks beyond the nuclear issue, he implied, would face resistance from the Iranian side. The sharper warning came when Ezzeddine addressed the possibility of military escalation. If diplomacy fails and Washington opts for force, he claimed U.S. intelligence agencies and satellite surveillance do not fully understand the scope of Iran's military capabilities. He spoke of surprising tools and capabilities that adversaries have yet to see, according to Press TV. The remarks echoed a statement made days earlier by Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei himself. On February 17th, during a speech in Tehran to people from East Azerbaijan province, Khamenei responded directly to repeated U.S. military threats. The strongest military in the world can sometimes be struck so hard that it cannot even get back on its feet, Khamenei said, according to the Jerusalem Post. He added that while an aircraft carrier is certainly a dangerous piece of equipment, more dangerous than the carrier is the weapon capable of sending it to the bottom of the sea, a statement that was widely covered by international media. The warnings from Tehran and its allies come against the backdrop of what defense outlets describe as one of the largest U.S. military logistics operations in the Middle East in recent memory. Open-source flight trackers and defense outlets report a sustained increase in U.S. military transport flights to and within the region, though Washington has not publicly detailed the full purpose of each movement. The operation involves C-17 Globemaster III heavy transport aircraft, which are capable of carrying armored vehicles, missile systems, air defense platforms, and troops. By early February, the open-source monitor Armchair Admiral reported that over 112 C-17 flights had either arrived or were en route to the Middle East, according to tracking data compiled from public flight platforms. By February 21st, some defense and OSINT outlets were estimating the total number of heavy transport flights at well over 200, but that count is an external estimate, not an official Pentagon figure. The sustained tempo of flights has drawn attention from multiple independent tracking communities. OSINT trackers report flights from major U.S. bases in Texas and Europe, including Ramstein, but routing data alone does not confirm payloads or final operational intent. Additional flights have been tracked shuttling between Gulf bases, Suda Bay in Crete, Sofia in Bulgaria, and Ramstein Air Base in Germany, which is functioning as the primary European hub for onward distribution, according to Itamil Radar. The Italian open-source tracking service described the flow as forming a continuous airlift bridge, emphasizing that this is not routine traffic. Russian state outlet RT described the deployment as the Pentagon's biggest buildup at Iran's door since the 2003 Iraq invasion, but that comparison has not been independently confirmed by major wire services. While the scale of airlift activity has drawn attention from multiple open-source intelligence communities, independent analysts have not uniformly endorsed that characterization. The C-17 can carry Patriot missile batteries, counter-drone systems, radar platforms, and rapid response troops, suggesting preparations aimed at shielding bases and allies from potential missile or drone threats. OSINT analysts and defense outlets reported heavy activity at Jordan's Muwafaq Salti Air Base, with some estimates describing it as one of the busiest hubs in the buildup. Sultan Air Base in the Gulf region has also seen increased activity, according to RT. Historically, both bases have served as strategic launch and logistics hubs for U.S. operations in the region, and increased forward positioning at these locations suggests operational preparation rather than routine training, according to defense analysts. The airlift campaign has been accompanied by significant fighter jet deployments. Axios reported, citing a U.S. official, that more than 50 fighter aircraft were moved toward the region in a 24-hour period, including F-35s, F-22s, and F-16. Israel Hayom reported that 18 F-35 fighter jets arrived in one batch, with E-3G AWACS early warning aircraft and U-2 reconnaissance planes also tracked departing European bases, according to Adamil radar. The naval buildup mirrors the air campaign. The carrier strike group led by the USS Abraham Lincoln has been positioned in the Arabian Sea since late January, accompanied by several guided missile destroyers. The USS Gerald R. Ford, described as the U.S. Navy's newest and most capable nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, entered the Western Mediterranean through the Strait of Gibraltar on February 21st. According to Reuters, a senior U.S. official said all forces are expected to be in place by mid-March. Iran has responded with its own shows of force. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps conducted military drills in the strategic Strait of Hormuz, the narrow waterway through which a fifth of all globally traded oil passes. Iran and Russia then held joint naval exercises in the Sea of Oman on February 19th, with the Russian corvette Stoichi docking at Bandar Abbas, according to Al Jazeera. The Kremlin said the drills were pre-planned, but analysts noted the timing coincided with peak U.S.-Iran tensions. Amid this military buildup, Axios reported on Friday that the Trump administration is weighing starkly different options on Iran. Axios reported, citing sources, that U.S. planners had discussed a range of options, including scenarios involving Iran's top leadership. A senior Trump advisor told Axios that the Pentagon had presented the president with numerous options, and a second source confirmed that such a plan was floated several weeks ago. No decision has been announced. On the diplomatic side, the same Axios report said a senior U.S. official indicated the administration is prepared to consider a proposal that allows Iran token nuclear enrichment, but only if it leaves no possible pathway to a bomb. The official said Trump would be ready to accept a deal that is substantive and that he can sell politically at home, adding that if Iran wants to prevent an attack, it should give us an offer we cannot refuse, according to Axios. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said in U.S. media appearances and remarks carried by other outlets that Tehran is finalizing a proposal expected to be shared with Washington within 2 to 3 days. He said the draft would include political commitments and technical measures to ensure the nuclear program remains exclusively peaceful, according to Middle East Eye. Araghchi said the U.S. did not demand zero enrichment in Geneva, while U.S. officials have publicly maintained tougher positions. That discrepancy remains unresolved in public reporting. Behind the scenes, mediators from Oman and Qatar are reportedly urging both sides to reach a deal that allows each to claim victory, according to Axios. Omani Foreign Minister Badr al-Busaidi confirmed that good progress was made in Geneva, while the White House said there was still considerable distance between the two sides. The Axios report noted that any Iranian proposal would face a steep challenge, as it would need to convince skeptics inside the Trump administration and among regional allies. Reuters reported that U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said Trump was curious why Iran had not capitulated as the U.S. military buildup continued. Some of Trump's advisors have counseled patience, arguing that as time passes and the military presence grows, Washington's leverage will increase and Tehran will be forced to bend, according to reporting by News 9. Others within the administration reportedly favor faster action. The White House has described its military posture as a necessary response to heightened tensions, while Tehran and its allies frame the buildup as pressure tactics designed to force concessions at the negotiating table. CNN reported earlier this week that U.S. forces could be ready to strike as early as last weekend, a timeline that has since passed without confirmed military action, suggesting that diplomacy still holds, however narrowly. Ezzedine's remarks from Beirut are part of a broader pattern. Iranian officials, allied lawmakers, and pro-Iran figures across the region have all amplified the same message in recent days, that Tehran possesses capabilities Washington does not fully understand, and that any military confrontation would carry consequences far beyond Iran's borders. Analysts differ on whether this messaging is strategic posturing or a signal of real confidence in Iran's deterrent capacity, but the message is directed squarely at Washington's decision-makers as the window for diplomacy narrows. Subscribe to WLA for daily geopolitical analysis.